There is a number you have never calculated, and it is almost certainly larger than your car payment. It doesn't appear as a single line anywhere. No one ever sends you a bill for it. It arrives in pieces so small that your brain files each one under irrelevant, and by the time the pieces add up, the money is already gone. By the end of this, I'm going to give you the exact figure most men in your position are losing every year, and one question that will make you cancel 3 things tonight. Stay with me, because the question isn't about money. Let's start with something you already know, but have never taken seriously. You are subscribed to more things than you can name from memory. Try it right now. Don't open your phone. Just list them out loud. Streaming, obviously. The music one. The cloud storage that got upgraded when you ran out of space. The gym you go to twice a month. The app that was free for a year. The subscription your ex set up on your card. The software you needed for one project in 2023. The thing your bank charges you for having the wrong kind of account. Most people can name 6. The average is closer to 14. That gap between what you can name and what you actually pay for is the entire mechanism. And it isn't laziness, it's architecture. Let me tell you about Marcus, 36, quality assurance lead at a logistics company outside Columbus, 11 years at the same firm. He is, by any reasonable standard, financially responsible. He has an emergency fund. He contributes to his 401k. He doesn't carry a credit card balance. He is the guy his friends ask for advice. Marcus also had a persistent problem he couldn't solve. Every month, somewhere between $400 and $600 vanished. He knew his salary. He knew his rent, his car, his utilities, his groceries. He tracked all of it. And every single month, there was a hole he described as just life stuff. One weekend, he did something he'd been avoiding for 2 years. He pulled 12 months of statements and highlighted every recurring charge. Not the big ones, those he knew. The small ones. Anything under $30 that appeared more than twice. The total was $281 a month, $3,300 a year. Of that, he could identify a genuine, ongoing use for about $90 worth. He was paying roughly $2,300 annually for things he had entirely forgotten existed. Here's the part that should bother you. Marcus wasn't careless. Marcus was targeted. Behavioral economists have a name for the reason this works: the endowment effect, first documented by Richard Thaler. Once we own something, even something we never use, we value it more highly than we would if we had to buy it fresh today. A subscription you already have feels like a possession. Canceling it feels like a loss. Signing up for it fresh, at full price, with no free trial, would feel like an expense you'd refuse. Same money. Opposite feeling. The entire subscription economy is built inside that gap. I call the result the slow leak. The slow leak is any outflow small enough that stopping it feels like more effort than it's worth. $9, $14, $6.99. Every individual charge sits below your threshold for action. Your brain performs a cost-benefit calculation. Is it worth 20 minutes of my life to cancel this? And correctly concludes no. It does this 14 times independently, and never once does it run the calculation on the total. There's another layer to this, and it's where most people get stuck. Before we go further, I need to show you something I built after understanding exactly what we're discussing here. It's called the Free Your Mind Kit, 3 tools that work together. The ebook is 35 pages of real psychological financial diagnosis, not tips about saving money, but a map of the invisible patterns that trap men on stable salaries. The stability cost calculator is an interactive tool. You enter your own numbers, and it shows you the actual cost of not acting, in net worth, in time, in freedom deferred. And the mental reprogramming audios are 3 tracks, 7 to 12 minutes each, made to listen to when you wake up or before you sleep, working on identity, worth, and action where knowledge alone doesn't reach. The three work in layers. The ebook builds intellectual awareness. The calculator builds emotional awareness. The audios work on identity. It isn't a course, no subscription. Lifetime access. $9. The link is in the description. Whenever you're ready. Back to it. You might be thinking, fine, but $2,300 a year isn't going to change my life. And you're right. That's exactly why the leak survives. The money isn't the real story. The real story is what the leak reveals about the relationship you have with your own attention. Consider what actually has to be true for 14 recurring charges to survive on your account for years. It requires that you have never sat down with your own money for 2 uninterrupted hours. Not tracked it, you track it. Sat with it, looked at where it goes, and asked whether you agreed with the decision. You've probably spent more time researching a television than examining your own financial architecture. And the reason isn't that you don't care. It's that examining it means confronting something. When Marcus went through those statements, the thing that hit him wasn't the number. It was a music subscription he'd been paying for since 2019, the family plan he set up when he and his girlfriend moved in together. She moved out in 2021. He'd been paying for her account for 3 years. Not because he couldn't cancel it, because opening that settings page meant deleting her name. That's what's actually in the leak. Not carelessness. Avoidance. Every unexamined charge is a small decision you deferred. The gym you never canceled because canceling means admitting you stopped going. The course platform you keep because keeping it feels like still being the kind of person who's learning. The storage plan for photos you'll never look at. You are not paying for services. You are paying rent on versions of yourself you're not ready to let go of. Marcus's first move took 40 minutes. He canceled 9 things in one sitting. 8 of them he never thought about again. The 9th, the music plan, took him 20 of those 40 minutes, and he sat there afterward feeling something closer to grief than relief. Then he did the part that mattered. He set up an automatic transfer for $281 a month into a separate account. Same money, same date, same feeling of it leaving. He just changed the destination. 14 months later, that account had almost $4,000 in it, and he had genuinely no memory of missing any of the things he'd canceled. Now the question I promised you. It isn't, what should I cancel? That's a spreadsheet question, and it never survives contact with your actual life. The question is this: what am I still paying to avoid deciding? Ask that about every recurring charge on your statement, and you'll find that the ones hardest to cancel aren't the expensive ones. They're the ones attached to a decision you've been postponing, about a relationship, a habit, a version of yourself, a plan you're not ready to admit you abandoned. Cancel those, and the money is almost beside the point. What you get back is the ability to look at your own life without flinching. If what you heard here landed, the Free Your Mind kit goes considerably deeper into this pattern. It's one of the 5 I documented. Links in the description. And if you recognized yourself in Marcus, drop 1 word below. Leak. That's all. I'll understand. You don't have a spending problem. You have 14 unmade decisions, and every one of them is charging you interest.